So now what are you doing? You're handling the objection for, I only need what? One knife. So if you say it before it comes up, you actually handle the objection before it happens. Another great line to say is, one of the number one causes of injuries in the kitchen is using a dull knife. And insurance companies have done a study on this. The number one household injury in the kitchen is a dull knife. So Mrs. Jones, I'm going to show you some knives that are really sharp, but once you get comfortable with them, you're going to actually benefit from having different pieces. So, when you're going through the pieces, guys, less is more. Why? Because you want to have ammo to sell the other pieces. So I'm just going to go through a few things that work for me. Some of them I might forget, but I'm just going to do the best I can. So we're going to start with the first thing that you show. What do you think the first thing you show should be when you're going through all the new Cutco?
Cutco kitchen.
Well, we already went through that. We kind of already explained it.
Kitchen?
Cutco kitchen?
Yeah.
Well, that's what some reps do, and that to me is kind of a feel them out. Like if they only have one or two, going to the Cutco kitchen is kind of a big jump, right? We believe it, and it's possible and it happens, but for me, when we do like list, it's all about getting them started with a couple ideas, and then you keep building with a couple more ideas. Because sometimes if you just go, wham, here's a big old, the whole book, they might feel a little overwhelmed because they just only bought one a couple of years ago. Or, you guys with me? Give me a head nod. Say, I'm with you, Mike. Alright, so I actually start with the cutting boards. Because most people actually buy cutting boards every couple of years and they actually go bad. And for some of you, you might not have had a whole lot of sales. But your manager and your assistant see a lot in you. This is how I took my sales from nothing to $50 on average. Then to $100, then to $150 for a while. Then I broke through $200 about a year later. And then I was at a $200 average order pretty much for the last 6 years. And then when I came back into business selling, and I closed my office, the last year, my average has been about $300 to $400 on employment. But that took time. So why do we start with the cutting boards? One, they're freaking awesome, Mike. And two, they're easy to sell, they're affordable, and they keep the knife sharper. So I always do a quick cutting board kind of teaching with them. I go, Mrs. Jones, you should never cut in glass, ceramic, or plates because they dull your knives. The analogy I'd say is if you would actually slide or dive on concrete, would that be good for your skin? It's not a good image, right? So what we do is we actually help you with our forever boards. Some of you might have heard me talk about that at our SLDM. You say the word forever before every piece that you show. This is our forever board. This is our forever block. Our forever ice cream scoop. Do you think they might get the idea of the forever guarantee when you're pounding the word forever in their head? So why do you promote the boards? They're easy. I mean, it's like 60 CPO right away. And they're going to buy into it because one, it's something that everybody needs. Even if they don't have Cutco, they need the boards because they need to cut on something. So for you, if you want to just get a sale on every appointment, I know a few of you have already came up to me and gone, I'm going to have no sales. That's an easy way. You get them on the Forever Board Pack. You say we have a small one for your little jobs, just for one little piece. We have a medium for like you and your husband. And then when you have a meal for all the kids or a family, you have the big board. And what's nice is that the juice grooves and the legs are molded into it. They're dishwasher safe, made in America, and they're really affordable. They're only a couple bucks more than Target or Walmart. Oh, really? You guys have those? Yeah. Guarantee forever. Made in America. So now what are we doing is we're getting them to buy into concepts. And when they're bought into a concept or an idea, now you can keep showing them more and keep building this. By the way, we haven't created anything yet. We're just kind of getting their appetite, moist. So then we'll build a list later. So then after that, what I do is I always recommend a storage thing. So a block or a tray. To me, trays are kind of wimpy unless, they're adamant about actually putting something on their countertop. But sometimes they just need a little bit of tough, positive, love from a consultant. And sometimes when those things, you guys ever had the customer that says, I don't like to put stuff on my countertop, but you see all the stuff on their countertop? They just need a little tough love. If you feel that, there's already stuff on their countertop, you just go, to be honest, you probably just don't see how nice it would look quite yet. But I'll tell you one thing is when you have Cutco there, you're going to use it more, you're going to like it. When people come over, they're going to know you have Cutco. You're going to be the coolest person in your family. and I'll give you a good deal on it today. And most of the time they will actually change their kind of decision. But if you know their whole cabinet's completely, or their counters are flat, it's going to be really tough to get them to really buy into that concept, because they've had that same mindset, I don't want something on my countertop, for years. But it's your job, and if you actually, do they give the cutting boards out with the sets? You guys have a little board? So what you do, because some of you don't have a block yet, pretend it's a cutting board. You actually walk to their countertop, and you put it this way, and you say, well, that's the size of about a homemaker. And then this is the size of our ultimate. It'll fit perfectly. It's not the size of a microwave, it's the size of a sheet of paper. You guys get what I'm doing there? And then you show them that it's possible for them to actually have it on their countertop. So then after that, what I always do is I get them hooked on table knives if they don't have them. So what you might want to do is do the leather or have them cut with something. And really don't call them steak knives. I still slip up, but the second you say steak knives, most people associate it with red meat, and not everyone these days eat red meat a lot. So they might actually right then and there say, well, I would never use that because we don't eat red meat, or we don't do a lot of steak. You go, yeah, it's easy for me to say they're steak knives, but to tell you what, these are our #1 selling knives. They have the rounded tip. They're so easy to cut through chicken, pork, salads. Like, you're going to use these things for everything. Here, try it out. Let me show you how these work again. And what we do is we line them in the bottom of a set, where we give you an awesome deal and you just throw them right in your drawer. So now what you're doing is you're kind of plugging stuff as you go through. So then what you do is you move on to some of the pieces. So does anyone have that like fold out thing with all the knives? It's like a homemaker, a signature, and then does anyone have it like right now? Yeah. Alright. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to kind of promote upgrades. If you want to learn more, you can jump on the call tonight. So if you go on Cutco Mike's page, I'll just give your book back. So what I do is I just say, well, we actually have a couple options for you. We have an option where you can get our most popular set. We have an option where you can get our #1 selling set. We have an option where you can get our biggest and our baddest set. Let me just show you a couple highlights of this. So what you want to do, guys, is you actually want to use a few analogies. You might have heard of these, but they're good to get a refresher course on. Do you guys do the golf analogy as you're doing your appointment? And by the way, if you do this on a normal demo, it'll help you sell more anyway. I always stopped about at the 4th or 5th piece, because at this point, they've actually kind of zoned out. As good as you are, most people lose their attention span at about 15 minutes. So you know what we're going to do right now? We're actually going to have you poke your neighbor. Ready, set, go. Poke your neighbor. Poke your neighbor. Alright, thanks for playing along. So, the reason for that is most people, their attention span is about 15 minutes. Have you guys ever actually did this on your appointment? So if something is twice as good, twice the quality, twice the value, twice the guarantee, how much would it cost?
Twice.
And they go, huh?
Yeah.
And then you find yourself saying twice the price?
Yeah.
By the way, if you say twice the price, you're probably going to lose that big sale most of the time. Because now you are telling them what's right and wrong. If they say it, they're telling themselves. So this is not in my talk, but I'll teach you a way to actually make this actually work. Well, one is during the uses of the pieces, you can stop halfway and you just go, if you have your manual, I'll write this right in there. Am I doing a good job of showing you the value of each knife? And just smile and nod your head. What do you think they're going to say every time?
Yes.
Yeah, they're not going to stop there and go, no. No one's ever said no. It's a loaded question that you will get a yes on every single time. So, hey, am I doing a good job showing you the value of this trimmer? Oh, yeah. And if you want to do that a couple times, it'll gain their attention throughout the whole appointment. And then how do you do that when you do that one question? So, when you ask that question, all you have to do is add a few commas and pauses and add their name. So, Mrs. Jones, comma, smile, pause. Most people haven't had the opportunity to price fine cutlery. Smile, pause. So when something is twice as good, pause. Twice the quality, pause. You guys catching on? So now by the time you actually get to it, you're going to say twice as much and twice a couple times, and they heard you. So they should say twice the price. And that's how you